What's up, everyone? Alex Boylan here, co-founder of Dream Jobbing, and today we are doing 5 questions with the amazing Rachel Rudwall.
Thank you.
It is so good to have you here.
It's good to be here.
Oh, ahead. Rachel and I have known each other a long time, and if there's anyone who has a dream job and pretty much an epic life in the world of travel, it is Rachel.
Thank you.
She has hosted shows for Travel Channel, Epic Lists, Chasing Vacations, Vacation Chasers on HLN, and you've filmed in over 70 countries and traveled all over. So she writes, she produces, she hosts, she pretty much does it all. She's pretty amazing.
You know, the world is an amazing place, so it's sometimes people get confused. Alex is like, she's seen it all. The cool thing about the more you travel is the more you realize you cannot see it all.
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful revelation.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
I say that all the time.
Yep.
The more you see, the more you realize you haven't seen anything. Yeah. Blowing your mind away. So thank you, Rachel. It's going to be fun to dive into her career and how she got to where she is today. And let's start with the beginning. When did you say to yourself, I love traveling so much, I'm going to make a career out of it?
I grew up in Ohio, in a small town. Not a lot of people travel in Ohio, so kudos to you if you're from the Midwest and you've managed to explore beyond your county. When I went to college, I was like, I want to see the world. I don't want to stay put. I didn't know what that meant yet, so I actually got degrees in international studies and Spanish, thinking that maybe I'd do.
Did you travel as a kid, or was this just like a wanderlust inside your soul?
Yeah, to Michigan, where I would be in the back seat between my 2 brothers, older, younger brother, and they would just punch me till I had dead arm all the way to Michigan from Ohio. That was
Those are your traveling stories.
Yeah. And I mean, they count. They were great adventures, but I didn't spend a lot of time, leaving the Midwest or leaving the country because that costs money. And everybody has a different financial upbringing. So for me, staying in a little cabin that was owned by someone we knew was travel. When I went to college, though, I was like, I would like to see the broader world. That sounds great. But I thought that it would be something like working as a diplomat or working for a non-governmental organization, an NGO, and then storytelling ended up becoming the path.
Wow. We have very similar stories, you know that? I was an international business major.
Really?
And I thought I was going to go the same path and then storytelling. Isn't that interesting?
You can do anything with those degrees.
Okay, so what was when did that turn to be like, okay, I'm going to be a storyteller and I'm going to create this personal brand, you know what I mean? And be, a travel influencer, you're hosting shows. When did that and how did that take its turn?
When I was going into my senior year of college, I got an internship. Internships are key, okay? I got this internship with a travel company. Do you remember STA Travel?
Oh, I was just speaking with them
in
Arizona a week ago. Yeah.
So when I was in college...
That's Student Travel Association, and now I think they're called Start the Adventure. I think they've rebranded themselves.
Right on.
But they used to be, a massive organization.
Yeah, and they were, when I was in college, the world's largest youth and student travel organization. And millions of college kids would do trips with STA Travel or through the providers that they had on their roster of local tour operators. So they had this internship called the World Traveler Internship, the ultimate World Traveler Internship that I applied for. Yeah, and I was like, this is a dream job. They wanted to send somebody around the world, 15 countries for 3 months, to be a storyteller with the goal of inspiring others to travel, which isn't that hard if you've ever scrolled the gram. You're like, I'd like to be where that palm tree is. So I ended up getting the gig. I had 1,000 some kids, I think, because I had gone abroad for study abroad a couple of times on my own and not died yet. And they were like, you're hired. You're gonna not die. And so that's when I realized that I didn't have to do something traditional in order to travel the world, do some good, and make a career out of it. And the best part is I don't have to go to an office and wear suits and pearls and things and be like, let's make policy.
A lot more fun of a path.
It's a lot more fun. And you asked a question too about when do you decide to build a personal brand. I don't think personal branding was really a thing back then.
For sure, no, yeah.
But a couple years after graduating college, I ended up securing the domain name rachelromes.com, and then Twitter became a thing. And I was like, well, I should probably be consistent. So I got @RachelRomes, and then it just kind of snowballed. It wasn't like one day I was like, boo, I've decided.
Right, okay.
It was more a really gradual recognition that driving people toward the same brand name could help them aggregate information and get to know you better. Yeah.
So cool. What's been the most challenging part of going from, okay, that's a really cool internship, Because I can remember the first time we met. This is like probably 10 years ago plus when you were in LA. It's
not to date ourselves.
Not to date ourselves. That is what it is. But I'm like, what's been the most challenging aspect of being like working for yourself, building that brand, and to be honest, like make money traveling, right? It's not easy.
It's not easy. I will say the most challenging part is being consistent when things aren't going as you envision. When you want something yesterday, you're like, this is my goal and it's the thing I'm gonna make. You expect it to just start happening because you will it so, and you know you're worth it. And all of that really gets in the way of learning patience and honing your skills. And there are gonna be a lot of times as a business owner that you hear no, or you don't hear anything at all. Right? Yeah. And you just have to keep plugging away at it.
This is such great advice. It is such, you're being so brutally honest, and it's so true.
I heard no a lot.
Me too.
Take it from me.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of no's. And what really matters is the yeses. And you start to realize that it isn't that scary to put yourself out there, because you start to get used to the no's or the lack of a response. You don't take it personally once you've gotten used to the no's, right? And that all helps you become better and better and better, because every approach that you're gonna make as you hone your skills, as you become a better version of yourself as a professional or just a human, that's all a learning process. And for me, those no's have helped me really refine my vision and learn what is worth the yes.
Yeah, that's awesome advice. And we're only on question 2. All right, amazing. All right, question 3. You know, you produce, you write, you host, you take a lot of beautiful photography. So, of all those, which do you love the best, and why?
I love the hosting the most because I don't have to be behind a camera and asking questions of the world through a machine. So like right here, we're talking with the people who are following this, right? And that's a beautiful thing. But it's even cooler when we're in the same room as all of you. So having the opportunity as an on-camera host where you get to eat the food and try the local dress and try the dance. You might look like an idiot, but try the dance. That for me is so fun, instead of being like, hi, tell me about your life. And then someone's looking through the camera and then I'm looking through the eyepiece. There's a disconnect that happens that you can get rid of when you're in the moment as a host.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. What's your advice to someone a little younger out there who's like, I want to be Rachel Rudwall. I want to travel the world. I mean, because of Instagram, there's so many young kids out there that this is their dream life. What's your advice to them on trying to do what you are doing?
I have 2 immediate instincts when you ask that question. 1, don't try to be Rachel Rudwall. Be you. There is only one you. That is the coolest part of existing. You're the only one of you. So focus on that. And what that means is, in terms of trying to make a living traveling or make a brand out of a travel goal that you have, focus on what makes you different. It's very easy to replicate what you see everybody else doing because you're like, oh, I've seen it succeed. Look at all those likes. I'll double tap that, right? And you see all of these things that people are doing where it's like the silhouette of the woman just dropping her dress into the wind so it just flows. So, and you're like, but would she really have worn that dress on top of those mountains? It seems impractical. If that's not you, don't be that. You might still be figuring out what you is, who you are, but don't try to be others in that search. There are things that each person can offer that are unique and interesting, and the more you water it down, the less you differentiate yourself, and you don't end up really making a case that you're any better than anybody else by copying what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
It's not a lasting success if you haven't found your own voice in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great advice. It's like you got to find that voice, and then along with that passion, and then you got yourself a shot.
Yeah.
Right? All right, 5th and final question, Rachel. This comes from one of our amazing Dream Jobber students. You have traveled to over 70 countries. You've taken some amazing pictures, which you have to follow her Instagram at Rachel Roams. It's amazing. You'll see all these awesome places. What is your favorite picture you've ever taken, and why?
Favorite picture I've ever taken? You know what? My favorite picture I've ever taken might not be on my Instagram.
Really?
Yes.
Well, we'll put it up on this.
Yeah, we'll put it up. Yeah, I'll send it. and then I'll put it on my Instagram
Yeah.
because it should be up there. When I was moving to California, so I'd had that travel internship already, and then I determined, oh my gosh, I'm going to become a storyteller, and I decided I'm going to move to LA. That's where storytelling happens, and I was making the big move out west, and I was, all my stuff was packed in a U-Haul, and my dad was driving me to California from Ohio, and we were trying to get to a place called White Sands National Monument in New Mexico. And it's famous because it's just these beautiful rolling dunes of this exquisite, perfect white sand. And I wanted to see it so badly. I'd read about it, I'd seen photographs, and it's my dad's birthday. I totally shouldn't say this right now. But my dad was late getting back to the van to get on the road to get to White Sands, and I was so mad at him because I knew we were going to miss the sunlight. I was so pissed. I was like, I know we had to be at our next stop by the morning. Long and short of it, we're like really tense. We're in the U-Haul and we're trying to get there.
Your dad's not happy?
Dad wasn't happy that I wasn't happy with
Okay.
Dad, right? It makes sense. It's kind of cyclical. We ended up, though, getting to White Sands just as it was the last of the daylight, and the sky was painted in all those brilliant colors of sunset, and there was one monk standing on the dunes, and he's got this long saffron robe and the perfect white of the dunes and the colors of the sunset, and I was like, I didn't need to hurry. I can let go of my anger now. And that, for me, has ended up the favorite image, but it's also inspired a certain love that I have for photography, where there's a small person in the face of something greater, where you get that perspective and that sense of scale, and you realize how tiny we all are and how cool it is to be a part of it.
That is awesome. I can't wait to see the photo.
I can't believe it's not on Instagram. What am I doing with my life?
5 questions, Rachel Rudwall. Thank you very much for doing this. I
thanks for
appreciate it.
having me.
At Rachel Romes. You got to follow her on Instagram.
Thanks for
awesome
watching.
stuff. Cheers, guys. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.